We're going to start off the video like this. I don't get it. I don't understand. People do not make sense. And what do I mean by this? You cannot say Anthony Joshua is too big, too bulky, but then yet understand that Andrew Ruiz, who outweighed him by 21 pounds, who is also 5 inches shorter, is not too bulky. See, this is where people have it all messed up. People keep saying Anthony Joshua is the bigger man, the bigger man, the bigger man, the bigger man. No, he's not. He was the taller man. He was not the bigger man. Big goes off of mass, goes off of weight. Who was the more massive? Who was the bigger, the heavier fighter? Andy Ruiz Jr. at 268. That was the bigger man. Joshua looks more impressive because he's got muscles and he's more lean and he's longer, so it gives off a false appearance that he is bigger, but he's actually not bigger. He's smaller. See, big, small, that deals with size, not height. Now, with that being said, I've seen a lot of people, and me, I just got a comment from a guy named Bruce fucking Vane. I enjoy his videos. But I'm not going to side with somebody because they're against Wilder, they're for Wilder, they're this or they're that. If they agree with a lot of things I say or disagree with a lot of things I say, has no dictation on whether I agree or disagree with what they say. So this is where I part ways with him. He talking about Anthony Joshua's too big. Anthony Joshua should be 230. First off, you're trying to get, 17, we'll say 16 pounds because he's normally around 246. You're trying to get 16 pounds off this man, where at least 10 pounds of that is going to be pure muscle. So you take 10 pounds off of him, you make him skinny for 6'6" at 230. Now, he might lose the one thing he has going for him, which is power, which is being able to rock people. He might not be able to hurt people losing 10 pounds of muscle. You don't know what that's going to do to his body. See, the thing is, it never really hurts you going up. You just learn that when you go up and you face bigger people, you might not carry the same power. You know, you're now fighting men who are bigger, who are used to being hit harder than possibly you could throw a punch. So therefore, when you were hitting smaller guys at your same smaller size, you were doing damage. So when you move up, that power doesn't always translate. But your body reacts better going up than it goes going down. That's why there's a terminology called weight drain. You get weight drain when you pull weight off your body. And you got to understand, your body normalizes at a certain weight. Me personally, right now, I've been on a road trip, moving in between homes right now because my home wasn't finished when it was supposed to be. Haven't been eating but like 1 to 2 meals a day, and I'm still maintaining a $185. My body says no. It's not going to go lower than 185 as long as I eat something and drink some type of fluid. See, when you get below what your natural body weight should be at its lowest, then you start to hurt your body because you're not used to being there. It's not normalized. And it can also hurt you if you go up too fast, only because you're not used to carrying the weight, so it can sap your lungs. It can cause you to actually be off balance because your legs aren't used to holding that weight up. But you are better off going up than you are below your natural weight. Now, back to the point. You cannot say Anthony Joshua is stiff, is not agile. You just can't make that argument when he lost to a guy who was 21 pounds heavier, fat and flabby, who was faster. See, this is where people got it fucked up. If getting muscle or gaining weight equaled being slower, then you wouldn't see speed positions in the NFL held by people who are bulky for their height. You wouldn't see running backs like Emmitt Smith who are 5'10", 220 pounds. You wouldn't see people in general in any type of speed position that have a lot of weight on their ass. See, the thing is, weight on your ass doesn't slow you down. It can actually speed you up to a point. It's only when you get too bulky for your body is it a negative. That's why in the gym, when people ask me, you know, are they talking to me about, yeah, I want to gain weight, I want to do this, I'd be like, look, don't get too big for your body. Get to a weight that you can carry comfortably, but you don't want to get so big where you look like a fucking monster, but you're so slow that a 120-pound man could beat the shit out of you because you can't hit him. See, the thing is, Anthony Joshua is 6'6". 247 pounds at 6'6" is actually on the smaller side. A bulky frame for that height would probably be around 280 or more. But he's not bulky. Put him next to Brock Lesnar, who I believe is only 6'4". Put him next to Batista, who I think is 6'5". That is bulky. You could put him against NFL players of the same stature and he's going to look teeny. Why? Because he's not bulky. 247 pounds is not that big for his height. Hell, if that be the case, then explain to me this. If being heavy with muscle makes you so slow, then why the fuck was Tyson so fast? Mike Tyson was around 225. He even got up to 230 later on. But around 225 at only 5'11". Did it slow him down? No. People always get caught up on Tyson's power. But what about his speed? He had incredible speed. It was impeccable, impregnable. Tyson was super fast, and the muscle and the weight did not slow him down. What will slow you down is the way that you train. If you do zero calisthenics, see, that's what NFL is really big on. That's what sprinters are really big on. All your sprinters are fucking muscular. Their speed, fast twitch, firing, boom, boom, boom. It's how you train that will slow you down. It has nothing to do with the weight until you become too big for your size, too big for your frame. That's when it's a negative. You can't be like, well, AJ got very winded because he was 247, but yet Andy Ruiz, who was 268, if 5 inches shorter, was never gassed. Now, you could argue that muscle eats more oxygen, but Andy Ruiz has a bunch of fucking muscle underneath that fat. Just because somebody looks flabby doesn't mean they don't have muscle. See, that's people get so caught up on aesthetics, they don't really know what's going on. Like I said in a past video, look at a power lifter. Most power lifters look like fat dudes. They look like beer belly, fat dudes. But they're strong as shit. Why? Because they train for power. Whereas a bodybuilder trains lighter for form and shape. It's a difference in the way you train. If you train slow, you will be slow. If you train for speed, you will be faster. But you will never be fast no matter how you train, because speed, like power, cannot be taught. You cannot learn how to be fast. You can become faster, but speed is born. So the argument that AJ is slow because he has muscle is a dumb argument to begin with, because you don't know if he would be slow skinny. He could be just as slow skinny. He could be slower. You don't know. It's not about his muscles because he's not that big of a man. Then with Bruce Wayne in particularly, I said if that be the case, then tell me why Deontay Wilder gained so much weight after fighting Tyson Fury. You know why it is? Because he found out that he was too small to compete. He got bodied. He got bodied. Then I remember an argument, Bruce Wayne, and I'm just reflecting on him because he wrote a comment that I just saw and I've been on the road, so I'm responding to that in this video. He wrote a comment, well, tell me how Wilder is a harder hitter than AJ and da-da-da-da-da-da and smaller. Well, first off, first things first. It's not proven that Deontay Wilder is a harder puncher, because I did a video where I compared their 3 like opponents, and Anthony Joshua has actually knocked out the 3 opponents combined faster by 1 round. Okay, so that's out the window whether Wilder is actually a harder puncher or not. We don't know. Because what we did see in this fight with AJ against Ruiz is he put Ruiz on his ass, and Ruiz has never been knocked down by nobody. Never been on his ass, and he got put down. So to state that AJ doesn't hit hard or hit as hard as Wilder is an overestimate on Wilder's behalf. But even if Wilder does hit harder, once again, you cannot teach it. Some people just have freakish punching power. Don't know where it comes from. You got guys who are 140 pounds who can hit like they're 200 pounds. You got guys who are 200 pounds who can only hit like a 110-pound woman. See, that's the thing about it. Wilder could be God gifted with power. And it doesn't matter if he's 180 pounds or 380 pounds. He's going to hit hard. But the only thing you're going to see with Wilder is as long as he gains weight to what he's comfortable holding, as he goes up in weight, you're only going to see him hit harder. Because as long as he's not losing speed with that weight gain, now he's coming at you with more force. Because what's moving fast now carries more weight. So now not only do you have the force of the speed coming at you, but you got the weight of the body coming on top of it to increase that force delivered. See, a lot of people are little people. They don't understand this. They've never been big. They've never been muscular. They've never been strong. Athletically, they might have never played sports, or they just may have never been good at sports and got the participation trophy and enjoyed getting it like it was something good. Because for me, I hate losing. Don't give me a trophy if I lose, because I'll throw it away. I don't keep that. That means nothing to me. So many people have been made soft because they think it's okay to come in second. They think as long as you enjoy what you're doing and you're having fun doing it, in a competition, it's okay. No, it's not. It's not okay to lose in a competition. That's why it's a competition. You're there to compete to win. That's the goal, to be the best. So people don't know what they're talking about because they've never been bigger. They've never been smaller. They've been one size their entire life, so they don't know the difference. But what I will touch on off topic is Andy Ruiz was talking about, well, yeah, now I can look like the Mexican Anthony Joshua. Ruiz, please don't do that. If you can move that fucking fast with your physique, with the fat, keep it that way. That is like a wrecking ball coming at you 1,000 miles per hour. Don't change it, because what he could end up doing is he could lose weight, and then he can end up losing power even though he looks more muscular because he's carrying less weight. See, I keep stressing this, and I stress it a lot through my videos. Weight matters. It's not about if you're fat. It's not about if you're muscular. It's not about if you're tall or short. It's about the weight. The weight matters. Now, do muscles mean you can fight? Fuck no. But does being skinny mean you can fight? Fuck no. If you got a skinny person who can fight against a guy muscular who can't fight, 9 times out of 10, the skinny guy is going to win. If you got a muscular guy who can fight against a skinny guy who can't fight, 9 times out of 10, the muscular guy's going to win. See, if somebody doesn't know how to fight, it doesn't matter how they're built. Fat, like an Adonis god, or skinny like a crackhead. The guy who knows how to fight is an advantage. But what I can tell you is, if you get a guy who's got a lot of weight on him who can't fight, he has more of a chance of winning against a skinny person who can't fight than a skinny person who can't fight against a skinny person who can fight. Why? Because the weight turns into an advantage. If weight was not an advantage, then a weight class for fighting would never have been invented. You would see 110-pound men fighting 250-pound men. There would be no such thing as a lightweight, a middleweight, a heavyweight. It would just be one weight class. Any weight goes. But you know what ended up happening? People realized when two people know how to fight and they're just as skilled as each other, weight matters. That's why they made weight classes. So this whole notion that AJ needs to lose weight when he's already not that big of a man is BS. He doesn't need to lose weight. The problem in this fight was he did not train. It had nothing to do with weight. I don't believe he trained. He could say all day that he trained, but once again, I come back to this before the fight and the open mitt training where everybody was watching his open training regimen with the media all. He was winded, hitting mitts very slowly. He was winded. When do you ever see somebody winded hitting mitts if they're in shape, especially when they're not even doing nothing to the mitts? He was barely moving. He wasn't even throwing fast punches or hard punches. He was just doing a moderate pad work and was exhausted off of that. I believe this fight came down to overconfidence. It came down to the fact that he thought he was the man. Nobody could stop him. This is a short, fat guy who has no chance. And when he hurt that short, fat man, he got overconfident, got cocky, got hit on the top of the head, wobbled. Now, not only is he already gassed, but now he's hurt on top of it. That's where AJ went wrong. Not due to his weight. Hell, he only came in 1.5 pounds heavier than he's ever been. I wouldn't say ever been, but in his last fight, he was 246. This fight, he was 247.5. He only gained 0.5 pound. But what I can tell you is, looking at his physique, he looked a lot softer than he normally looks. And that right there is a good indication on how hard he was actually training. I don't believe he was training hard. And Ruiz is a great fighter. For all those who are throwing salt on Ruiz, in my opinion, Ruiz is an undefeated fighter. He should have been 33-0 when he fought AJ. So there's no telling how good Ruiz is, because this is the first time we're really seeing Ruiz step up in class. The only other person he fought that was a top-level competitor that I consider top-level was Joseph Parker. And against Joseph Parker, like I said, he got the loss, he got the L, but it looked like to me he won. And it could be argued. If anything, it was a draw. I would have never gave, if I had to give it to somebody, I would have given it to Ruiz. If I had to judge it, it would have been a draw. But in my opinion, Ruiz should have won that. So we're looking at a guy who we don't know. Just because he's tubby looking doesn't mean he can't fight. Just because he's tubby looking doesn't mean he's bad. A guy that's that heavy at 268 at only 6'1" that can move like that is dangerous. That's a dangerous fighter. Because that's a lot of weight coming at you at very high speeds. We cannot sit here and say that Andy Ruiz would get knocked out by Wilder because we don't know what would happen. We can't say Fury would dance around Ruiz because we don't know what would happen. Even the guy like Dillian Whyte, we don't know what would happen because we don't really know how good Ruiz is. We're just getting a glimpse of him right now. And this rematch will be the telltale. Because I can guarantee you AJ is going to come in there fully trained. He's not going to come in there nervous. There's no reason to be nervous. Why would he be nervous? He fell down 4 times and got up all 4 times exhausted. So that alone tells you he can take whatever Ruiz can throw at him. He didn't get knocked out. He didn't get put to sleep. He didn't even get a TKO. He got a referee stoppage while he was standing in the corner. And he was responsive. It's not like he wasn't responsive because he was answering the referee. He answered him twice. Yes, I'm ready to go. Yes, I'm ready to go. Referee waved it off. And he goes, what? What did I do wrong? He was very responsive. He was just exhausted. And even in his exhaustion, he was still hurting Ruiz after he had already been down 4 times. Well, after he already been down twice. 3rd time, he was still putting up an offense. So you can't say AJ has no chin. You can't say AJ has no heart. Like a lot of, even big time people like Stephen A. Smith try to allude to the fact that AJ has no heart or no chin. He's a suspect chin. You cannot have a suspect chin if you go down 4 times and get up 4 times. That's not a suspect chin and that's not a suspect heart. Now, was he looking to his corner? Yeah. He might have been looking at his corner like, oh, fuck, we underestimated this guy. Oh, fuck, we made a mistake. Oh, fuck, what do I do? Because every time I hit him once, he's hitting me 5 times. What do I do? That could have been why he was looking to his corner. Confusion, because he wasn't expecting what he got. And he got a lesson. And it was a well-taught lesson. And if Ruiz can beat him in the rematch, then more power to Ruiz. I would love to see Ruiz fight other people up there. I'd love to see him in there with a Dillian Whyte, a Big Baby Miller, if he can ever stay clean off PEDs. I'd love to see him in there with Tyson Fury. I would love to see him in there with Deontay Wilder. I would love to see him in there with a Pulev. Even Povetkin. We do not know how great Ruiz is because this is just the light being shined on him. But any man who went 100 amateur fights, or 105 amateur fights and only lost 5 is a good fighter. Any man who's made it all the way through the pros with 33 fights and never been put down is a good fighter. See, I don't even need to get into all that. The bottom line is to come back full circle. AJ is not too big. If AJ lost weight, it would be the dumbest thing he ever did because he's not a fast fighter. If anything, he should put on more weight so he can impose more power on people, so he can impose more of his will on them, so when he hits them, he hurts them even more. See, when you're slow, you have to build around that. Now, they need to work on AJ's speed. They need to work on his reaction time, and they sure as hell need to work on his head movement, because even AJ in his life said he didn't need head movement, which worried me, especially if he was going to be fighting somebody like Wilder, who can come across that ring so fast with that little hop skip. So this right here needs to be a whole new trained AJ. He needs to learn how to move his head. He needs to learn how to fight in the pocket. If he's going to sit in the pocket, especially with people shorter than him like that and trade, he needs to learn how to move around them. He needs to learn how to extend his legs and lean his body back so the shorter man can't be at the advantage of keeping AJ at the end of their punches and him not keeping them at the end of his. That's why he got caught, because he was too straight up and down and tried to trade with a guy who was hurt. And once you're hurt, you're going to start winging them. Even if your eyes are closed, you're just going to be swinging for the fence because you know you're about to go. And AJ made a fatal error when he rushed in there. And like I said, on top of that, he was already tired. He was tired by the second round. His mouth was open. You could see him breathing through his mouthpiece several times. He was exhausted. That is why I don't believe he trained. But as far as speed goes, there is too many things that tell you muscles don't mean you slow down. Look at Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield was built like a fucking gargoyle statue. That motherfucker was fast. He didn't slow down. Mike Tyson, again, was super fast. Klitschko wasn't the fastest, but it was 255 at 6'6", even bigger than AJ. Mowed through people. And he wasn't slow. He had a piston jab. So, muscles do not slow you down until you become too big to move. And AJ is nowhere near being too big to move. He has a lot of flaws. Maybe he has a lot of flaws. But to me, his chin is no longer suspect. For him to get off the floor 4 times while being exhausted, that shows me he has a chin. And that's all I really wanted to say to this. I'm about to go hit this leg day, work out, and that's all I got to say. As far as my videos go, I'm sorry y'all I haven't been posting. Once again, I have been on the move. I'm in between homes. My house was already supposed to be done, but it's not. So I'm still waiting for them to finish building it. But outside of that, I will be doing my live commentary like normal for the Golovkin fight tomorrow. So tune into that if you're subbed to me and you want to hear a live commentary of the fight if you cannot get it. Thank y'all for watching like always.